Shalom Yesharala. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to those Akim that's preached the word in all truth and sincerity, along with the Israelite foreigner brothers that like the heathens. But the line of outside goes back to the nation of Israel, which the nation of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans through the prophecies and curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter and throughout the Bible. So this is Brother Yakar Amath back with another video. And today's video will be entitled Many Are the Afflictions of the Righteous. I'm just going to go on some precepts and Lord willing, you brothers and you sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemon Shai, you know. And this is a psalm of King David, you know, and I'm gonna go into account, with Apostle Paul, because he was a great example of that, you know, and along with many other men and Lord, the prophets that suffered for Yahweh Shimon Shai. But I just want to, highlight on what happened with Apostle Paul, you know. But it reads Psalms 34:19 says, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord Yahweh will deliver him out of them all." Right. So, you know, when you stand up for truth, once you come in this faith, you're gonna suffer a lot of afflictions, you know. But with balance, the Lord delivers you out of them all, because remember the Lord um don't bring hell upon us to, um to destroy us, but the hell is to build us up because remember the scriptures speak about whomever the Lord chastens him, that's whom he loves, you know. So if the Lord is, afflicting you and you're walking this truth. Huh? Okay. Got them. Um, yeah, so if the Lord is chastising you, that's a token that he's dealing with you. Now with balance it is some points. It will be a season, in your walk that, everything is working out, the Lord not chastising you because the Lord does deal with balance. But for the most part, you catch hell in his faith, and when you go to Acts 9, the point is in verse 16, but I'm start at verse 10. Now this was after he was called Saul at this time, before he changed his name to Apostle Paul, and he was on his way to Damascus to bound up some bound up uh, believers in Yahweh Shemon Shai, and the Lord blinded him for 3 days, as it said in verse 9, Acts 9:9, and he was 3 days without sight, and neither did eat nor drink. So this is talking about Saul, you know. It says, and there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias, and to him said the Lord in a vision, Ananias, and he said, Behold, I am here, Lord. And the Lord said to him, Arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus. For behold, he prayeth, and have seen a vision, a man named Ananias coming in, and put his hand on him that he might receive a sight. You know, it says, Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he have done to thy saints at Jerusalem, because, you know, Saul, you know, which was, Apostle Paul, but his name was Saul at this time. He was persecuting the church, for the wicked scribes and Pharisees. It says, and here he have authority from the chief priests to bind all that call on thy name. So Apostle Paul received the authority from these wicked chief priests of Israel, to bind up the believers in Yahweh Shemon Shai. So, but the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, you know, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel, For I will show him great things he must suffer for my name's sake. So yeah, so you know, the Lord Yahushai chose Apostle Paul, you know, to be to teach the Israelite foreigners this gospel, you know. But he would have to suffer great things for the Lord's name's sake, you know. And these were the great things that he had to suffer, you know, as he said in this chapter in 2 Corinthians 11 and 22. It says, "Are they Hebrews?" Which this letter or an epistle was sent to the church of Corinth, you know, which were to the Israelite foreigners. And this scripture proves it right here that they were Israelite. It says 2 Corinthians 11:22. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Yeah, so these letters were addressed to the Hebrew Israelites, to the Israelite foreigners that may look like heathens or that may have spoken Greek and have, have bald heads and, but they were Israelites through bloodline on their father's side. It says, "Are they ministers of Yahweh? Speak as a fool. I am more. And labors more abundant, and stripes above measure, and prisons more frequent, and deaths often." And let's go to another translation. We go, um, "Are they servants?" NIV version, "Are they servants of Yahweh? I am out of my mind and talk like this. I am more. I have worked much harder, been in prison more frequently, been flogged more severely, and been exposed to death again and again." You know, so this is just Apostle Paul addressing all the things he went through in the faith. It says, other other Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes, say it once. So 5 times Apostle Paul received 40 stripes. You know, it says thrice, which means 3 times. Was I beaten with rods? Once I was stoned. You know, because he was stoned. And when you read Acts the 14th chapter, Apostle Paul he actually died. He was stoned to death, but the Lord put the spirit back in his body to you know go to teach the word. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. 3 times he was suffered shipwreck in the ocean. A night and a day I have been in the deep, and journeys often. So in the night and the day he's been in the deep waters. Imagine that, man. You know, he going to travel to an Israelite foreigner, country, and you end up being getting shipwrecked, and you got to suffer a night and a day in deep waters. Imagine that. You know, very, very, scary, man. It says, "In journeys often in perils of water and perils of robbers." You know, perils means danger. So dangerous waters, high turbulent waters. You know, people you gotta worry about people try to rob them. Perils by my own countrymen, and perils by the heathen, and perils in the city, and perils in the wilderness, and perils of the sea, and perils among false brethren. So you gotta deal with false men in the faith, man, false prophets, and weariness and painfulness, and watchings often, and hunger and thirst, and fasting often, and cold and nakedness. And let's see what it says. I have labored and toiled and have this NIV version. I have labored and toiled and have often gone without sleep. I have known hunger and thirst, and have often gone without food. I have been cold and naked. Man, so Apostle Paul, he was going through it. You know, it says, "Besides all those things are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches." So outside of what he was going through, his care was about the churches, man, the establishment of the churches back then. You know, the true believers in Yahweh, man, building them up through the word, man. You know, speaking to them in Greek, you know, in Hebrew, because Apostle Paul spoke Greek. He was a Roman citizen, and that's how a lot of Israelites that didn't speak Hebrew they were able to convert because the Lord chose Apostle Paul, to teach the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, this gospel, and they didn't speak Hebrew; they spoke Greek, you know. So, this what Apostle Paul was saying. This is just in a nutshell. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivered him out of them all, man. for him to still, you know, keep continue to be fervent in truth and preaching the gospel, you know. So I'll read the scripture again. Psalms 34:19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord Yahweh deliver him out of them all. Right. So, perfect example of that was Apostle Paul. And also when you read Acts the 22nd chapter, 23rd chapter, you had them wicked Israelites that made an oath that they wasn't gonna eat and drink. I believe it was for 40 days, and until they killed Paul. But that didn't happen because the Lord put the spirit on Apostle Paul's nephew to tell the captain to hey, these men are conspiring against Apostle Paul. They want to kill him. So the Lord delivered Apostle Paul through his nephew. Putting the spirit on Apostle Paul's nephew to warn him on what the wicked Israelites wanted to do to him. They wanted to kill him. And Apostle Paul was delivered from that. So hey, if you please the Lord, man, the Lord will deliver you. You know, so yeah, that was pretty much it. Just want to make a lesson on that. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. Lord willing, I was edified. And you know, till next time, Shalom.